Agro Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society, Punjab. I, Himani Gautam, Vice President, Just Agriculture, the magazine, cordially welcome you all to the fifth day of Agriculture 4.0, the future of farming technology and agripreneurship development, which is the 15 days international training cum workshop program. This program is jointly being organized by Sher Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology, Kashmir, Just Agriculture and Agro Environmental Education and Farmer Welfare Society, Punjab. So I am very glad to announce that our co-partners for this program are more than 20, and I must congratulate Team Just Agriculture for organizing such insightful training programs at regular intervals and for collaborating with such big universities within such a short span of time. And I would like to take a moment to appreciate our co-organizers, which are NAHIP, National Medicinal Plants Board, Government of India, MPUAT Udaipur, Maharana Pratap Horticulture University, Karnal. And I also want to express my sincere gratitude to the knowledge partners of this program, which are Professor Jayasankar, Telangana State Agriculture University, Hyderabad, Vidhan Chandra Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, West Bengal, VNMKV Parbhani, Al Azhar University, Egypt, Anand Niketan College of Agriculture, Baroda, Shulini University, Solan, Utkarsh PDKV, Akola, Jagannath University, Riyadh Bahara University, Mohali, Chandigarh University, Mohali, Quantum University, Roorkee, Gita University, Maharishi Markandeshwar University, University, and Guru Kashi University, Bhatinda, Shobit University, Baba Farid Group of Institution, Bhatinda, Tula Institute, Dehradun, and Roorkee Institute of Technology, Roorkee. So before beginning the program, I would like to tell our participants about the organizers of this program. So, Sher Kashmir University is one of the leading farm university in India that caters to northwestern Himalayan hill and mountain agriculture. And this university was established in operation in August 1982 with its headquarters at Shalimar, Srinagar. Since the inception of this university, it is helping the state in achieving food and nutritional security and fulfill the aspiration of various stakeholders. Meanwhile, Just Agriculture is India's largest agri-professionals platform, which is with more than 5.5 lakh readers across the world, and it offers a prodigious platform for the researchers, students, scientists, and other agriculture professionals to share their knowledge and ideas about latest agri innovation. So, first issue of our magazine was launched on 5th September 2022. Until now, 25 issues of our magazine are published. So, Just Agriculture, the magazine and newsletter, has published 2,500 plus articles from the academicians, researchers, and students of ICR universities. And Just Agriculture is widely circulated among farmers, professionals, and academicians among 28 states of the India and 63 countries globally. On the other hand, the Agro Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society, Punjab, aims at enhancing the livelihood opportunities for more than 1 million farmholds in the country. So these both are among the largest network of agriculture and allied sector professionals in the country right now. So now coming to the session, I would like to thank and welcome Dr. Najir Ahmed Ganai, Vice Chancellor of SCOST Kashmir, Organizing Director of this training program, Dr. DPS Badwal, Course Director of this training program, Dr. Mohit Bhardwaj, members of the organizing committee, and most importantly, the attendees of this session. And I warmly welcome our speaker of the session, Dr. Vinita Kumari, who is Deputy Director, Gender Studies and Center Head for the Gender in Agriculture, Nutritional Security and Urban Agriculture at National Institute of Agricultural Extension Manage. Before inviting ma'am to deliver her lecture, let me briefly introduce ma'am to inspire our participants. So Dr. Vinita Kumari is currently serving as Deputy Director Gender Studies and Center Head for Gender in Agriculture, Nutritional Security and Urban Agriculture at National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management Manage. Prior joining Manage, she was working as Assistant Professor, Extension and Communication Management in College of Home Science, Central Agriculture University, Meghalaya for more than 13 years. And she was the university gold medalist during her MSc. And Dr. Vinita has published more than 30 research articles in referred academic, national, and international journals, lead papers, and two ISBN ebooks and two book chapters. Her area of specialization include women empowerment, gender studies, women in agriculture, community nutrition, rural development, food foods and nutritional security, and nutrition-sensitive agriculture, biofortification, urban agriculture, and family farmer, One Health concept, and microgreens. She has received Young Scientist Award and Young Teacher Award for her academic excellence. She has completed four national research projects with one international project of UN Food and Agriculture Organization on nutrition-sensitive agriculture. Currently, ma'am is working on another international project of GIZ on adapting gender training module and TOTs in Madhya Pradesh. Ma'am, you're such an inspiration for all of us, and we are very happy to have you on board with us. So, I welcome you, ma'am, to grace this virtual podium and enlighten our participants with your knowledge. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Himani Gautam, for the wonderful introduction before the audience. And I'm thanks to Cost Kashmir Just Agriculture for giving this opportunity to share my viewpoints on another important topic, I would say, that is women-led agri startups, challenges and opportunities. So I'm very happy to be here, and I can see a large number of participation of the participants here in this program. It's very encouraging to see a good number of participants on online mode. So Himani, so what time do I stop so that I will be making the presentations within that
Ma'am,
time?
yeah, yeah, around 5:50 so that we can have 10 minutes for question and answer round.
Okay, so finally it should be completed with by 6 o'clock, right? With all questions
Yeah,
and
ma'am. Yeah.
answers. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
So can
Thank you, ma'am.
okay, let me share the screen first, and please let me know if the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am. Screen is visible.
I'm trying. Is it in slideshow mode now?
Yeah, yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
So very good evening to all of you. Happy to see all of you here in this session on women-led agri startups, opportunities and challenges. So this is a very important topic, I would rather say, because now our Prime Minister is for promoting and encouraging the youth, the women, the farming community to move on from just being a farmer to be a agripreneur. So women also, women farmers, we all know the contribution of women farmers. They are there as a producer, they are there as a agricultural laborers, they are also there as managers of their farm field. But when we talk of managers of their farm field, so the role, although they are playing, but they're not playing with all the skill set that they need to have. So women-led agri startups means there should, we are all promoting agri startups now, that there should be not just being a producers, but they should move on to the as a professional startups. That is why now FPOs has been introduced. Government is promoting 10,000 new FPOs so that our small and marginal farmers are getting benefited with that. So this agri startups is one such approach where we look our women, particularly women farmers who are shouldering the agriculture now, because we know that major responsibility they are taking over because of the migration of male and other uh, reasons they are moving towards other industry, and so women are contributing a lot to agriculture sector. So now, uh, just being a farmer does not help the farmer's family until and unless they get into the business mode. So this farming has to be taken on a business mode. So for which our women farmers also needs to be encouraged and motivated and supported with the right skill set. So if we look into the challenges what are being faced, because these are the practical things that our women farmers feel, is that women entrepreneurs, whether they are a farmer, they are a graduates, postgraduate, because it does not mean that when we talk of women-led agri startups, it is only the women farmers. There are lot many of agricultural graduates now who are getting inspired, and they are moving towards agripreneurship. So This is where one we look for that women, we all know that they are having double responsibility. They are looking after the family affairs and taking care of the children and other things, as well as they are into the field, they are into the management of business, they are there in other roles where some income is coming to their home, so they are into the income earning role also, and they are there as a service provider at home also. So this is where the challenge here it comes is that uh, the time constraint. Because of these, they have time paucity, they poverty, that we say that time poverty they have. They can't move out long distances because of the responsibilities that they take care at home. So these are some of the challenges. If they have to participate in some national level of any exhibitions or some startup show is going on, they sometimes feel that they cannot leave other things and participate there. They need a group people to support them if they want to represent themselves at such platforms. Lack of management skills, we all know that women, although they are managing the field, they are managing agriculture now, but that is a very informal way that they are doing it. Mean they completely lack the managerial skills for management of the resources, management of the process that should be there, marketing, sales, prediction of the market price, negotiation with the people they come across during this process. So all these negotiation skills, uh, the conflict management, management of the resources, time management, so many things goes into to make any venture, any enterprise successful. So women, particularly our women farmers, they are not having the right set of managerial skills, because of which their agri startups suffer a lot. Sometimes it also fails if it goes on for a long time without any proper skill upgradation. Education, we all know that in general, the literacy rate of women or females are less than male, whether it is rural areas or urban areas. Even if the literacy rate of what we see here is in Indian context, where the literacy rate majority of them are having very lower level of education, may not be a matriculate also, less than that. So this low level of education or no education is a big challenge in the way of the women entrepreneurs, because they need to understand a lot of things in starting their own business. A lot of financial things are there, transactions are there, ICT they need to explore to expand their business, to give a branding and for their business. So these literacy or education is a big hindrance in their way. And also digital literacy, when we talk of education, I would like to focus on the financial literacy also and digital literacy also, because financial literacy is very important. We see that women, although they are in the FPOs, they are managing small micro small enterprises also at the household level also, but they have very little knowledge, or they're not so confident to handle their financial transactions independently. They have to depend either on the bank staff or their neighbors or some educated members of their family to fill their forms, to apply for any loan, or to open an account, to borrow or transfer or withdraw money. So all these are very minimal things also, they are not so confident. We have seen that in many of the places they are making use of the some women para extension workers that are called bank sakhi. So this bank sakhi are the ladies who are collecting the forms from the women, and then they are processing it to the bank. So we feel that when we talk of women led agri startups, women should lead their startups with confidence and completely owned and managed by them, even in terms of financial literacy. Coming to the digital literacy, this is another area where we feel that our women agripreneurs, if they want to succeed, if they want to rise high and expand their business with the least effort, least time, least expenses, they should definitely explore the social medias that are available, the online platforms that are available, so that by being at home they can reach out to their buyers as well as to their sellers also. So because as I mentioned that women, one of the constraint is double role that they play at home and at on their living things that they are managing for the family. So if they explore, and the more the ICT, the more the digital platform they explore, the more convenient it is that they also, from being at home, they can sell their produce, or they can also manage the resource material, the raw material that they want for the production of the goods that they want to produce. So digital literacy is very important, but we see that the women are using smartphones, because now smartphone penetration in rural areas is also very appreciable, but they are not exploring all the features of smartphone. So this is where we need to educate that smartphone is enough for them to know the market prices, prediction of the market prices, from where to get the input raw materials inputs, from where to whom to sell, when to sell, what are the platforms that they can explore. Everything is possible with their smartphones. Which are the business areas available already in their area, which or which are not there, which they can start, so there is less competition when they start such ventures. So these are some of the things that is very important, that our women agripreneurs should make as much use of the digital platform, and should be very much confident in all basic financial transactions, because everything is happening online now. So they should be confident to make transactions online. Unavailability of the equipment, here we see that we all know that women agripreneurs, even if you see any processing industry, food processing industry, if you see the activities, the different uh, um, process that goes on there, you will see that women are mostly involved in the grading, sorting, cleaning, packaging things. But when it comes to the plant, the machinery where these things are processed and the final products are done, usually you will see that the males are operating all those equipments, the plants, the food industry that is working there. So these are all managed by the male. Women are usually doing these type of preliminary things, and then the packaging after production of the produce. So here we want to ensure that when we talk of women-led agri startups, the women should know the skills right from the once the after produce, when we are moving towards the grading, sorting, cleaning, and all these till the packaging and the marketing also, including the marketing. So our women should be so uh, uh, skilled that they need not, if needed, they can fit into any of these roles and in any of these stage of the food production value chain. So that is very important, that it is not there. So these are some of the challenges. Storage and warehousing is a common challenge. It is not only for women or men. It is uncommon, but we know that our infrastructure, especially the warehousing, the cold storage, this is still very challenging. One of the challenge, because of which a lot of wastage is also happening. But now the government of India, they have come out with the agri warehousing scheme fund, for which the government is giving fund to such entrepreneurs who are looking for some facilities like this, and they are into some agri related business, but they do not have such facilities to preserve, to increase the shelf life, to store their produce until it reaches the market. So now they can make use of this government scheme housing in agri infrastructure fund, so that is there. So this is one of the common aspect of agri startups, that they need a proper storage and warehousing facilities, so that where they can store their harvested produce. Then the developed produced the food, or the whatever food products that they uh, develop, that also can be stored safely without any infection, or and the pathogens infecting it, until it reaches the final destination. Marketing, as I mentioned, is one of the challenge of women agripreneurs. If we look into the marketing, we see that women, although they represent in the agri food value production chain, but they are missing at the marketing chain, or very uh, uh, less percentage of the women are representing in the market directly, or all on her own. They will be either supported by the family members or some other neighbors. But when we talk of women-led agri startups, the women should be so much mm, equipped. They should be so much groomed in such a way that if they have to represent their products with any other place for selling, they are able to do so, whether it is not only the local market, but the nearest city town at the national level. And even sometimes if required, they can go for the export also, because now export is also becoming very common for many of the produce now. So they can explore that opportunity also with the help of that experts to facilitate them. But marketing, until unless they don't do on their own independently, they will not get the monetary benefit of the efforts and the time that they are putting in. Because once they hand over the produce to any third member, whether it is the spouse or the middleman or any other person, the right on the income, they are deprived of that. So in order to have a control over the income that comes through these type of activities, it is very important that they start doing the marketing of their produce, branding, advertisement of their goods and services on their own. And it is not always the goods, it can be services also, because nowadays a lot of agri consultancy services are being provided. Agri clinics are there, veterinary clinics are there, uh, plant clinics are there, so they are providing different types of services also. So that is also of agri startups, type of where not goods and services both are being provided. And whatever they are into, they need to ensure that marketing is completely controlled and managed by them. Then only we can see a impact in the change in the lifestyle or living standard of the family of the women, their children, because then only they will be able to improve the living standard, the cost of living of the family, the better welfare services to the children and other family members. So this is also one of the important aspect. So, lack of finance, I have already discussed that finance is one of the credit facilities that we say loan, because when we talk of agri startups, definitely they need some amount of money to invest to start their business, to start their agri startups. But as we know that women are very uh, less who own property. The percentage of women who own property either jointly or in independently is very less in agriculture, particularly when we talk about, it is hardly 12 to 13%. And that too, because of these reasons, they are facing difficulty. Although now, considering these type of constraints, challenges, now the government through different schemes, they, like the Mudra scheme is there, where they need not have any collaterals to show. Without collaterals also they can avail the loan facility. But not every credit institutions are supporting them in this way. So in order to, for women led agri startups to come in more and more numbers and be successful, we need to have a lenient financial processing, so that the women are get loan very easily and without any hassle and without any these type of process. They are given loan, because it is also many of the bank institutions, they themselves have claimed that if they give loan to a women members um, beneficiary, the recovery is very easy and the recovery rate is very high as compared to the loan provided to the male members. So, in such cases, also it is very welcome measure if we provide loans to more and more women members. So, because the credit institutions are assured of getting back the loan amount, whereas it is very difficult to recover from a male loanee. So, this is where we can support our women through these things. And also, cooperation from family members is very important. Until unless they get the full support cooperation of the family members, including the spouse, children, in-laws, and other family members, they cannot be successful, because uh, these things will always come on their way and will impact their business, their agri startup activities uh, uh, on different occasions, time to time. And there are many studies here which has been found that women start up on a high note. They start with high josh and spirit and with a lot of enthusiasm, but due to these different reasons that are discussed here, they gradually come down. So they, and sometimes they also close down. So if we want them to provide a supporting enabling environment, we need to address these challenges in a positive way. So, coming to the opportunities in agriculture, there is abundance opportunities for women. Not only for women, any person who is into agri sector, they have abundance opportunities now by way of primary agriculture, secondary agriculture, value added products, um, uh, agriculture, and women are also having lot such opportunities with some of the things they can do right from their home by being at home. Some of the things which require more space, some designated infrastructure, they can set up in some other place also. But broadly, if we talk about the opportunities in agri startups, we can categorize them into productive resources, agricultural commodities, and facilitative services. So, productive resources means all those things that goes into the production, like we need feed, we need seed, fertilizer, equipment, energy, machinery. These are all the inputs. So, whatever the inputs that are required to get crops, to get produce, to get harvest, these are all. So they can be as input dealers, because now a lot of many input dealers are there who are providing these type of as a business. So this is a very business opportunity for the women also. But we see that women in these type of sectors in productive resources is very less. The manage is offering a, a 1 year diploma program of DAY-5, that is diploma for agri extension supplies input dealers. So all those input dealers who are into these type of businesses, we have a 1 year diploma program for them, where they get the complete right knowledge, and so that they are the first line of information for the farmers, so that they pass on the right knowledge to them. So we have observed that our women are input dealers are very less in this sector. It is dominant by men only. So this is one area where they have opportunity, because the representation of women in this as input dealers is very less. So they can explore these type of opportunities as an agri startup. Then we have the agricultural commodities, where they can be engaged into any raw and processed commodities for food and fiber, either the raw, the primary produce, or the value added produce from that. Like we have the pickle industry, we have jam, jellies, a lot of milk and dairy products. So all these things can be explored under this category. And then we have the facilitated services, that is the services that we are talking about, like providing credit facilities, insurance, crop insurance facilities, marketing facilities to facilitate them, the storage, processing, transportation, packing, and all, and also the consultancy services that I had was discussing, agri clinics, veterinary clinics, plant clinics, all these things can be there. So women can, what we usually see, that women are mostly found to be in the second category of agricultural commodities, where they know that if they have to start any business, any startups, so they have to either go for jam, jelly pickle, and all these things, or some papar pickle, whatever. These are the things that they normally think of. And in the food processing industry, they are working there as mostly as laborers. They were not as a whole and owner of that business, but they are at the working as a labor for all these activities like grading, sorting, which I have mentioned, and the packaging. So these are the opportunities where women can be given their skill, their capacity can be built up, so that they take more um, advanced agri startups, which will give them better opportunity, better income from that. And this is also one area where we see that it is not so represented by the women. It is mostly dominated by the men. Credit facilities में we don't see very much many women there. Insurance, marketing, of course, we have discussed. Storage. So these are opportunities now we can explore, that women can get into these type of, other than the conventional, traditional agri starters that usually women choose. So other than the conventional, they can explore these unconventional opportunities as well. So here are like agricultural farm, the farming, vegetable and fruit processing, spice, farming, fodder, florist. They can nowadays floriculture is also emerging as a very lucrative and getting good income from that. Dried flower arrangement. These are also one of the opportunity for the mushroom flour milling, where they can just bring the some grains and have a flour milling, and just to make the fresh flours and pack it and sell it. Likewise, dal milling, fruit and vegetable processing, soil testing lab, because now the soil is also one of the where soil health card is issued time to time to the all the farmers, so they can have a lab for this, where they can test the soil for the farmers. Broom and basket weaving production, this is also one area. Chicken production, meat, that livestock, lac cultivation is also one of the area where agri startups can be set up with this lac. Lac has a lot of importance in the industry. Lac bangles are there. Lac is used for in government offices for sealing purpose and all. So then lac is one area where they can get. These are all agriculture related startups. Fish hatchery, dairy farming, goatry, quail, poultry, piggery, these are common. Beekeeping, vermicompost. So most of these things are being done, but other few things like lac cultivation, floriculture, uh, fodder, these things can be further explored by our women agri startups. There is a video here, but I think time is not so will not permit me. So anyway, it is there in the ppts. You can have this video is just showing some of the our women entrepreneurs who have successfully uh, uh, emerged as a successful women agri startups, and they have how they have influenced their life, the life of the family, and how did they get benefited. So that video is all on that. You can have a look on that video. And then coming to our RK women agri startup. So at manage, since I'm representing manager here, so I would like to mention two of the our schemes which is related with women agri startups. Manage is a National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management. We are coming under the autonomous as an autonomous organization under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Government of India. So we are done implementing all the schemes and programs of the ministry. So one of those few schemes are RKVY Raftar, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. This is where the manage is promoting agri startups as an incubator who wants to come and with some idea. They come with some idea and get incubated at manage, or who have already there's some pre-established or existing business or venture. They come here and get it to the next level. So all this incubation is done at manage, and here women are also having opportunity because they get special provisions under the program being a government scheme. So women agri startups in our programs get special subsidy, special provisions. So that is one opportunity. So if any women are looking for to become a agri startups, they can apply for RKVY Raftar scheme, and they have to pitch their first they have to apply through the application. Once their application is screened, and then their idea is found to be sounds to be good, they will be called for a pitch at manage. So they have to pitch their ideas, they have to how, and if it is found to be impactful and having some impact, then they go to the next level. So this is one business opportunity, agri startup opportunities through manage. Another scheme is agri clinic and agri business, ACABC. So agri clinic and agri business is another scheme where women can also get benefited. It is a 45 days residential program where the candidate needs to enroll at the NTI, that is National Training Institute, that is affiliate, that is recognized by manage. And so whatever is the nearest NTI to that particular candidate, they can register and stay there for 45 days. And during 45 days there are a list of the ventures, or more than 40 lists have been identified. So any of the out of those 40, whichever have more potential in their respective area, they can get trained during that 45 days. It is a completely free residential program for the candidates. So for 45 days they can get this training, and after towards the end of that, they have to submit a DPR, detailed project report, to the nearest lead bank, whichever is the lead bank of their area. They can submit their application in that, and the NTI will support them in preparing the DPR, so getting it submitted to the nearest bank of lead bank of their area. And then if it is approved by the bank, then they will be given a loan amount up to 20 lakh. And also the NABARD will provide a subsidy. So for male, the subsidy is 36%, but for women, the subsidy is 44%. So if anyone is looking for to have a startups, but don't have the skill, don't have the capacity, don't know what area to start, they can make use of any of these two programs also of manage, supported by Ministry of Agriculture. So, and then we have a few of our success stories of some of the women entrepreneurs, that they have shown how they have come out successfully. So these type of success stories are very much motivating for other fellow members who are also into similar situation, because they were also in similar situation at one point of time, but how they have changed and come out of that situation. So these success stories are here. So I think you can go through these things. Like here, she's from Telangana, and she is having a 3 acre of cotton farm land, mm, and also having the pulse and oil seeds. And she has set up a hiring center for agricultural tools. Nowadays, custom hiring centers are becoming very important, and many custom hiring centers are being set up so that those small and marginal farmers, those resource poor agripreneurs, they can make use of these custom hiring centers to uh, um, hire the equipments and other things and make use of it at a very nominal rate. So she is heading such type of custom hiring center. So here is another. She was a lawyer by profession, but from lawyer she had turned into this profession, and now she is having a animal sanctuary. So this is something another very interesting, and she's also having a sustainable agriculture farm that is coming up from Uttar Pradesh, and she's motivating other people also. So you can see how different people from different. We have seen a software people coming back to agriculture, people who were NRI, they are leaving NRI lucrative jobs and coming to agriculture as an agripreneurs, as a business. So that is the potential or the uh, opportunity that is available in agri startups. So many such educated people who are in good jobs, who are in well settled in out of India also, they have also found it so lucrative that they have left all those things and they have uh, entered into the agri startup. So this is which justifies the opportunities in agri startups, how it is very uh, benefiting to the our farming sector. So she is a lady again from Jaintia Hills of Meghalaya. So where she has used her knowledge and experience, and now she is helping other farmers to know about marketing, documentation, organic farming, and all these things, and how to enhance their income. She is also a Padma Shri awardee, and where she is influencing the life of more than 800 farmers in her area. So it is all about all these things. So these stories are there. So I will just I was mentioning about our ACABC scheme where she is Miss Vitika Haldar, where she was there in the fish farming, and now she is doing exceedingly well in the fisheries sector. So she is having a fish business where she's having two fish business houses and maintaining all these fingerlings, providing fingerlings, and we can see that she's earning net profit of 20,000 per month. So earning a net profit of 20,000 per month in the initial beginning stage itself shows that they can go much higher later on. So she is also one of the lady who is having a Sheetal having a poly house. So nowadays, now poly houses are also becoming very popular. Poly house, hydroponics, aquaponics, aeroponics. So these types of soilless cultivation, these are also becoming very popular. So these are also emerging as another opportunity as an agri startups where people can get into these type of business opportunities also and get more income from these. Now artificial intelligence is being used. So now if a women is the capacity is built in artificial intelligence, how they can make use of this for managing the farm and the business. So that also it can become one agri startup opportunity for them where they can build, give the capacity building of other women farmers. They can provide these artificial intelligence services to them in case those who need it. So the opportunities are abundant now in agriculture with the increase in the different ICTs that are coming up. This is also a success from our ACABC scheme where she is having her own agri clinics and she is providing the sapling. Now fruit sapling, I'll tell you, is another very emerging things where we don't realize, particularly for export. Recently, one of my friend, one of my friend, he is staying in Florida, but he is having a base in Bihar. So we were school friends. So he is so much passionate about agriculture that he is doing something in Florida also. He has his own mango orchids. He has lot 2 3 types of business related to agriculture there. And now he was mentioning that how much costly the saplings they get, mango sapling that he used for his mango orchid there, it was more almost 10 to 20 times more costly in US. So he was just of the view of that if somebody can provide fruit sapling from India, here it will hardly cost a few rupees only. So how much business for them also it is easy that they get it at a lesser price when they take it from India, and for our Indian counterpart also it becomes a business opportunity for them. So fruit sapling providing these as to other countries or within the India also, that is also one of the business opportunity. And this was is a success story as a raising nursery, that nursery raising for fruit and sapling and providing it to the other such business big business houses where they are growing fruits is also one of the business opportunities agri startups for our women. So these are some other stories of our CBC schemes which I had kept it here, where they have used the whatever the learnings they had got during their 45 days residential program, and then she has chosen to a cashew processing, and this they are doing it in a small scale enterprise as a cashew nut processing there in Maharashtra. So this is another way, one startup opportunity to be taken up. Likewise, opportunities are abundant. We see a lot many such things are there. So what we would like is that in all these things we need to have see that land ownership, we need to encourage land ownership, because if they have the land in their name, it becomes very easy for them to run any business, to think of any business opportunity, to explore the things and get benefit from the credit institutions. And also here I will say that group approach will be very important. Likewise, we have the FPOs, women FPOs are there, women SHGs are there. So when they are mobilizing themselves into group, it becomes much easier. The journey for women, if they do it in a group, it becomes much easier, because alone they will have several challenges, several criticisms, uh, several hurdles in their way, and they will be not so confident. They will feel shy, hesitate. But when they come together as a group, whether as a women FPO group or as a SHG group or any just as a group, but in a small team, they get lot of confidence. They get a lot of courage to do, and then they can support each other and they can take benefits of each other's skills that they each share in the group. So group approach is very important. If we want more and more women led agri startups to happen, we have to support and group approach, so that women once because initially one of the thing is that women are shy, women are hesitant, they have low confidence. So we can address these things if we go by the group approach. So these were some of the my viewpoints which I would have wanted to mention here. And now if the questions are there, we'll be happy to take those now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the valuable information, and you spoke very well about the women-led agri startup, various opportunities and challenges in the agripreneurship, and how women can start their own agribusiness, about the available courses and the schemes that manage, and how they can get financing for the same, and how they can overcome the challenges. So I just hope that all of the participants have gained a lot of knowledge from you. So we have a very few questions because your presentation is very self-explanatory. You have explained everything very well, like how they can overcome the challenges. So the question is that, like, nowadays we know that many of the people, like you have already mentioned, that people from IIT, IIM, and even NRIs are turning out to be agripreneurs, and the educated women, they are of course doing good in this field, but how we can motivate the women of Indian villages, like you have shown us the various success stories, but like if we want to motivate a particular woman from a particular Indian village, then how we can just motivate them, because you have already mentioned that they feel shy, they have lack of confidence. So how we can just tackle with this thing?
Yeah. So, if we want to motivate village women to get into agripreneurship, first and for what I would want no, my suggestion would be that we should approach the family first, because we want family support, because once the because women, even we have seen in many cases that women are interested, but they know that the family will not permit them, family may not support. So if we go by the family approach, we sensitize the family that how, why it is important for a women farmer to turn into women entrepreneur. So then the family themselves will push the women that you take this opportunity you have, that they will make her realize the latent potential that she has, and the family support will really help her to get into this. And I think for that also we may have to work with her the soft skills, because more than straight away going and telling her you do this venture and that venture, we first need to understand what skill set she has already. We need to work on the strength rather than the weaknesses. We say that work on your strength, manage the weaknesses. The weaknesses that she will have, that is low confidence, shy, hesitant, that can be managed. But whatever the confidence that strength that she carry, we need to identify those strength. We will work on the strength along with the family members. Then definitely I think she will come out of that cocoon that we say, no, she's inside the cocoon, she will come out of that cocoon.
Yeah, ma'am. We can see that in Indian agriculture, the role of male and female are very gender specific. Like in most of the cases, the females are either they are farm workers or laborers, or they are just scientists or researcher, and there is no in between. Like they don't have right on the property, and they don't have investments on their own. Nowadays, government is promoting women, and they are just provide and they are just giving women loans, and at the lesser interest rate and everything. The subsidies and schemes are there. So this gender specific role, like how you are just working on it in the manage, kindly tell us about that.
See, at manage, as we said, that we have a specific gender center for gender in agriculture. So there, we are working through training program, because we feel that manage is working at the national level. We are not directly working with the farming community, but of course, through the capacity building of our officers from agriculture and allied sectors, we are trying to sensitize them about the gender issues what are there, so that we ask them that when now after attending this program, when you go to the farming community, you keep these things in mind and try to address the concerns of the women, because we know that gender roles are different, gender needs are different, the gender activities that are done that are different. So don't go with a common program for both men and women, because they are into different activities. Men and women are in different activities, different roles, different gender needs based on these roles. So we need to have a specific plan of action for women farmers, and for men farmers don't have a one size fit all approach for addressing the issues at the community level. When we want to we give benefit to the women as farmers, we want to understand them. So this is one way we are sensitizing them, and definitely after attending the training program, sometimes it will hit their mind that yes, they have been taught all these things during the session, so they can keep in mind. We are also doing some action studies to, we are trying to understand what are the activities, what are the ground realities. Sometimes we do some action, like we are now we're doing another one in GIZ, which I mentioned, where we are trying to address gender and nutrition in Madhya Pradesh. So that project we are doing in Madhya Pradesh. So we are trying to build the capacity of the master trainers, so the master trainers will start educate come in them. So we are also working with the Ministry of Agriculture. So whatever the such studies are there, we will be directly taking, we are having a gender sensitization modules. So these modules we will develop, and we will ensure that in all training programs, compulsorily this is being implemented by all at different levels. So a different one for policy makers, one a different one for the field functionaries, one for the who are operating at the administrative level. So this is somewhere by which manage, and of course in whatever the schemes that we are doing, we have a special provision for women in each of these, and we have a women exclusive programs also sometimes. These are some of the ways we are trying to address gender.
Ma'am, you were saying that you are running project in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. So I just want to know that in which states of India your project is running, like in all the states or not?
No, no, it is only in Madhya Pradesh. That is a consultancy project where GIZ, a German company, has reached to manage that. They wanted to have some customized training modules developed on gender and nutrition. So we have developed the modules, and we are doing this in 3 districts of Madhya Pradesh. So 4 districts. We are doing in 4 districts of Madhya Pradesh. Likewise, if anything is specific, we do. Otherwise, when it is from manage, it is for at the national level.
Yeah, ma'am. Are there any chances or are there any organizations which are working on state level, like all the people from North India? It's it's not possible for the women from North India to come to manage because they have families, children, so they just don't leave their home for 45 days or 50 days. So, are there any, do you have any idea about some state level projects or which organization are doing at the state level?
So this 45 days residential training, that is agri clinic and agri business, that I had mentioned that it is all over India. So that's why I mentioned whichever is the nearest place national training institutes. We have almost 160 or 130, 130 to 160 NTIs we have across India. So if any women are interested, they can check into that state. In that, in every state there are some 4, 5, 6, depending upon the mm, number of NTIs in that, they can choose any, and then can is one for the women who wants to be agripreneurs. If they want to build their capacity, they can go for free residential program is one. State level, these are all at the state level. At the managed level, we are just implementing the program scheme.
Okay, ma'am. We are done with the questions, and the participants are asking for the PPT. They are asking that the PPT was very good and self-explanatory, so they want the PPT to
I
get
will
more
share.
knowledge about the topic. Yeah, ma'am.
Definitely, I will share it maybe by tomorrow. I will share it with you.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful session and for the self-explanatory PPT and answering all the questions with such patience. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was my pleasure to be with you all and share my thoughts on this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now taking the program to the next segment, I would like to invite our next speaker, Angie Pezak, CEO of Green Tech by Aquacell. So Angie Pizak is an experienced health coach, creator, and editor of the popular slowfoodlife.com portal. She is an expert in sustainable green technologies, a member of Emirates Green Building Council, International Well Airport Advisory Board, Well City Health Equity, and in special COVID task force advisory boards in New York. Madam Pizak is a certified biowell specialist. She is a lecturer and author of the bestseller Metabolic IQ, Your Code for Health. She is the winner of the prestigious Parisian Award in the Holistic Beauty Awards category. She cooperates with UNESCO, government entities, and conducts workshops on sustainable solutions, protocols, and practices. She worked with several stakeholders in UAE and Gulf Corporation countries to mitigate climate change and plastic crisis. At Aquacell, with her knowledge and commitment, she built awareness among business clients and government organizations, changing the world for the better. Together with her team, she implemented green technologies and innovations in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Ma'am, it is clearly evident from your work and experience that you are such an eminent personality, and Team Just Agriculture is very honored to have you on board. So now I would like to request you to enlighten our participants of Agriculture 4.0 with your knowledge. Welcome, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So
Good
shall I
afternoon, ma'am.
start my presentation, or you will do it for me, or I should share my screen?
Ma'am, you have shared the PPT with our team.
So they will go forward.
Yes, just you have started sharing the screen. Yeah.
1 second. Is it okay now? Everyone can see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will be talking today. I have two presentations, but I will start from water and space solutions in hydroponics and urban farming. Actually, it's related to any type of innovative agriculture that we are seeing now in this industry. Could you move to next slide, please? So just to give you a brief about our company, GreenTech is a startup based in UAE, which we established in 2020. It's a hybrid between our mother company Aquacell, which is present in the market almost 20 years. We will be celebrating 20 years next year. So what we do, we focus on connecting all the sectors from small entrepreneurs, students, young people, government, technology providers to bring the holistic picture in any sector that we deal with, as we believe that without all the stakeholders brought to one table, the mitigation of climate change and solving the biggest problems for entire humanity, like water and food security, it's simply impossible. So what we do in agriculture sector is we implement together with farmers or vertical farming companies or hydroponics, aquaponics, our sustained trademark agriculture protocol. So this is a set of rules from planning through cultivation up to harvest, which ensures the highest quality of food obtained in a sustainable manner with respect for the planet, ensuring human and environmental health. Our protocol helps to reduce human, carbon, and plastic footprint, secure SDG goals targets, and allow societies to thrive. And what is happening now, the plastic crisis is increasing. Currently, we are consuming only with packaging 8 grams of plastic weekly, which is equal to credit card size. So basically, we are eating 52 credit cards yearly, together with drinking plastic bottled water or buying food in packaging. So this is our core to reduce fully plastic, to restore the water, and to improve the space quality as well, which is crucial, especially in a new type of farming. We are providing and upgrading the legislations with the government, but our core of business is to going against mainstream, because so we believe in circular sustainability instead of circular economy. The reason why is that circular economy is providing a lot of different regulations which are basically harming environment and human more. To give you an example, in UK there is a legislation based on circular economy policy that allows to use in animal fat up to 1% of plastics, which means that all unsold salads, herbs, and other fresh products which are in supermarkets, and they are sent to the producer who is providing the food for animals, and they are mixed together with this food, which basically means that meat is full of plastic, and we are eating this kind of meat afterwards. So that's why we work with ministries of climate change and other people who are decisions makers to highlight such legislations. I would like to recognize Indian government to ban plastic, which is a very good step forward. As well, using recycled plastic for food and water. It should never happen, because recycled plastic is 70 times more toxic than the normal plastic. So the only way to reuse it is to produce products which are long-term, like garden components, or to reuse it in building real estate, but never in getting to contact food again. So the steps of our protocol are water, air quality, man-made electromagnetic radiation, facility concept, energy, and packaging. Water, still the topic which is absolutely ignored by many, even universities and big companies, is the structure of water. So the water in nature, before we destroyed everything, water used to have hexagonal structure. What it means, once the water had this structure, it was having high immunity. So it was resistant for pathogens, fungus, virus, bacteria, and we didn't need any chemicals to treat the water. So in terms of farming, once we are using structured water, we save water, because plants are capable of keeping more water in the capillaries, so they don't need that much irrigation, and it's very important in a dry area where there is scarcity of water. As well, we just finished now the one-year studies in Dubai, where by restoring the structure of water and using even treated sewage water and high salinity water in summertime, where the temperature was super high, we reached the biggest crops possible without any chemicals or fertilizers. So the structure is crucial for quality of food, for long-term transportation, and as well a nutrient content of our crops, as 90% of vegetables and fruits consist of water. So this is the basics if we want to get high quality food without treating it with chemicals, and as well if we want to save energy. We had a case with vertical farm in Tenerife, where only by using water technology to restore its structure, they saved a lot of energy, because plants were able to grow without a very high amount of artificial light. Second part, of course, is air quality, as vertical farms are mostly indoors, and the air quality is a top factor which is killing millions of people yearly. By introducing vertical farms into buildings, we are able to improve air quality inside the buildings and combine it with producing food, especially where we don't have access to big quantities of land available. Third point of our protocol is man-made radiation. So electromagnetic radiation made by human comes from Wi-Fi, 5G, 4G, 3G, cablings, all the systems that we are using, and it's affecting crops directly. We had a case with traditional greenhouse farming of flowers in Poland, where the farm was located in a triangle of high voltage speed train and PepsiCo factory, where they put several antennas on the rooftop, and everything stopped growing. The farmers bought sophisticated device from Netherlands to dose copper ions into the soil and improve the growth of flowers. It was 25,000 euros, so it was quite expensive, but it didn't bring any results. And just by implementing one water antenna which restored the structure of water, they were able to receive 100% of crops with a top quality. And more than that, the water that was evaporating inside the greenhouse, it changed the air quality and ionization inside. So the algae and the fungus disappeared, and the old ones, they dry and they fall down from. So there were several benefits, and it was clear that radiation is affecting the growth of plants. We see this often as well in UAE, where most of farmers' problems with water and quality of crops and animals which are getting sick are related to antenna masts or high voltage. Sorry. Fourth is the facility concept. So depending on the type of vertical farming or aquaponics or any type of indoor farming, we have created the conditions, and for example, by using compostable trays where the seeds and crops are growing, we are able to eliminate plastics fully, because what happens now in not only in traditional farming, where the soil gets affected by micro and nanoplastics, which are disturbing the plants, and of course they are damaging the quality of soil, and they stop water. The soil is not able to keep the water in. In vertical farming, we use less water because it's recycled, or it's closed cycle where the water goes round and round. And we do not have mostly soil. Still, there is a danger of nanoplastics which get inside the plants, and the crops will include this plastic, which is harmful for human and for any living being. As well, what we notice, even the vertical farm is a mostly controlled environment. Still, if we do not restore the water structure, often the plants and the food which is delivered to the shops, it has a short term of being suitable for sales and for consuming, because it gets rotten, especially the salads which are packed in plastic sleeves with a little part of soil. If we used structured water, we could avoid the bottom parts of plant to go bad, and as well this plant could be sold for a longer time in the supermarket because they wouldn't lose their quality. Fifth factor of our protocol is energy. As I mentioned already before, only by improving the structure of water, our farmers were capable of saving energy consumption due to artificial lighting, which is necessary in indoor farming. And as well, because with structured water, water becomes more smooth. So any sediments don't stick to the pipelines. So we can save up to 50% of energy when we push water through the network, just because of this increased quality. Sixth part of our protocol is packaging. There is a huge difference between biodegradable and compostable, because biodegradable decompose into micro and nanoplastics, and compostable decompose into biomass. So if we create a closed cycle, all the compostable packaging, which is done mostly from potato, corn, starch, or it can be, the polymers can be extracted from local agriculture waste, bio-waste. We are able to first produce packaging out of this waste, and then this packaging, once it's disposed, we can turn back into fertilizer. So we reduce costs of producing food because it's environmental friendly, but as well, we do not have to spend funds for artificial fertilizers and chemicals which improve the grow, but they affect the nutrient of food and quality and our health. We have growing population and shrinking resources. So by 2050, 70% of world population will be living in the cities. There could be more plastic than fish by this time. World population is projected to increase from 7.8 billion up to 9.9 billion by 2050. And our water supplies are shrinking. At the same time, climate change is generating more intense rain. So basically, we go from one extreme situation to the other In some parts we have drought, in other parts we suffer because of water scarcity. So quality of water is crucial for our future. Global policies, food and water security. As I said, climate crisis is affecting directly possibilities of cultivating various food, and we are convincing people to act ASAP instead of discussing continuously the same topic. So our main work recently is to support farmers with the governments to convince them to facilitate implementation of simple technologies which restore the water structure. And so we can basically start now instead of waiting for next COP summit. Climate change and the plastic crisis. Still we are talking about plastic, but not much is happening in terms of Western world, as US, for example, is one of the biggest polluters. So we supported action with UNESCO in Venice. So I collected myself 8 tons of plastic trash in a few hours, just in the channels in Venice. So we have plastic in the water, we have plastic in air, we have plastic in the soil, and there are solutions ready to exchange entire plastic we can imagine. We have Polish technology, for example, which is the only one in the world which managed to reach the barrier for wet and fat products, because the biggest challenge for sustainable packaging technologies is that they are short-term, they are not long-term. Often the bottles dissolve, plant-based bottles, they dissolved too early, so companies and supermarkets, they don't want to store such products because they cannot keep it 1 year in the store, as it happens with plastic bottle. But this technology reach this barrier and long-term possibility to store food inside. At the same time, as I mentioned before, we can use it as a fertilizer in production. We are working now, and we invite everyone to be part of this project. We work on a plastic offset platform where we want to charge big companies for offsetting the plastic virtually, but at the same time we want to stream these funds to companies which actually solve this problem on the ground. There are several worldwide. There is, for example, a lady in Kenya which is using plastic trash to produce concrete which is 10 times stronger than normal concrete, and it could be scale up. This money could be streamed into facilitating work of small farmers and providing them non-plastic solutions, providing them with structure, water. So we hope it's gonna be a change maker project globally. In my opinion, solution is roundtable and ASAP action. From a global perspective, we are moving too slowly. Even this morning, I read the report from COP that we are far, far away from achieving 2030 agenda globally. The legislation on innovation and new solutions, it takes years to build, so it's absolutely too long. We try to upgrade water legislation for the last 2 years in UAE, for example, and still there is no outcome. When we talk, we meet at the next summit, the climate situation and pollution only worsen. So I've been myself in 300 conferences and still I haven't seen outcome which was discussed several times. We should not separate sectors from each other. Often once I speak with real estate and hospitality sector, they ask me what they have in common with food and farming. So farming is connected with everyone. Because if we take people in real estate, they are eating. If we take people going to the hotel, they are eating. So everything is related to food, farming, and waste, which is then affecting our life and the ocean. As Albert Einstein said, we cannot expect different results while still doing the same. So only by building new rules and implementing them now, we are able to survive and reverse climate change. And until we start to see the world holistically, where each thing affects the other, until nothing changes. So this is the end of my first presentation. And if there are questions, I'm happy to answer questions. If there are no questions, we can move to the other presentation if there is still time on organic farming.
Yeah, ma'am. We can move to the next presentation, and after the presentation, we'll take the questions.
Okay, I will just switch the presentation.
Yeah, ma'am, sure.
So now I would like to briefly discuss organic farming and what we can do about that. This is the difference between unstructured water and structured water. So once the water has structure, it starts to create hexagonal shapes in nature. Actually, this is the wisdom of any ancient culture worldwide, where we used to do different shapes of corridors for water irrigation system. So the water, once it was rotating, it was restoring the structure. And we had the case with water in Nigeria, where after 24 hours, just by restoring its structure, the pathogens drop 58% in the water. And we had as well a case with well, where all the farmers had radioactive water in the mountain area. Because they installed mobile phone masts on the mountain. The mountain started to release radioactive ions into the ground, and then eventually they end up in well. And the government was controlling this water. Everyone had polluted water, and only one well was having crystal clear water. And that was our client, who was using the device to restore the structure of water. And luckily it was in the range where it could reach as well the well. So water was receiving constantly the correct frequency, and it was able to defend itself and as well to self-cleaning. This is the kind of antenna that restores the water structure. So how it happens is that water has memory and its information carrier. So we can increase the oxygen in the water as well. The technology do not have any harmful substances or emissions into the environment. And how it works, it gives 40,000 frequencies into the water every single second. So even though our environment is heavily affected by our activity, still water can regain this power to get in proper shape. This is the model that we use in big area or big farming. Now we plan the project with World Bank in Ghana, where the government wants to restore the water structure in the river, which is polluted due to mining and intensive farming. This is what we are working on globally. We designed technology which we called UFO, which is unique floating object. And the goal of this technology is to place it globally on the lakes, oceans, and coastlines to restore the water structure. Because what is happening with ocean and water globally is that radiation, which we exceeded billions of times, is simply increasing the temperature of water, and the water is losing its structure, which is affecting marine life, fish, coral reefs, and this is very important for aquaponics and as well fish farming along the coastlines, because if we restore the water structure, the fish which is produced in these farms won't get sick, so we don't need to use all the chemicals and antibiotics to cultivate it. So we get the organic product, and as well we are not harming our health. Possible applications are in potable water, where we reach high microbiological stability. We can increase self-purification of water. We can eliminate hardness, improve taste of water, and balance pH and oxygen content. Irrigation networks. If we use irrigation networks in farming and we restore the structure, we will eliminate algae. We will stop the development of bacteria and fungus. The plants will have better roots, and there are more resistance to high temperature and random climate disasters. The plants are better grounded and they consume less water, having better quality. As well, in terms of green plants, once we restore the structure and we irrigate the plants with such water, they become greener as they produce more chlorophyll. In irrigation lakes, again, by restoring the structure, I keep repeating this, but this is very important factor for any not only farming but any type of water, and it's still ignored due to big lobbies which are selling chemicals, but as well, not many scientists are willing to run such advanced studies, as they simply do not have enough experience with such topics. So in the lake, for example, if we restore water structure, we can save at least 50% of chemicals used to treat this water. The water becomes transparent. We have high biological quality, because once the structure is stable and water has its immunity, we create the environment which is not friendly for bacteria, viruses, fungi, or algae. If we use a raw plant in advanced farming, again, we can save up to 80% of chemicals. As well, we prolong the life of membrane, so we create less waste. As well, we save energy, and the most frequent trend in RO plants and desalination systems is to extract minerals from the brine, but because of treating it with so many chemicals, brine is toxic. So once we restore the water, again, we save a lot of money. We save waste, which is then harming our planet. So water structure actually solves many problems on environmental, social, and economical level. This is example of gardens in Poland. There is a view from drone, and these farmers are mostly growing plants used in landscaping and in cities and gardens, and they've been using such technologies for the last 10 years. And so what they observed is now they have as well the space technology to reduce radiation in an entire area. So they noticed that even in drought season, once it's very frequent that we see around yellow parts of grass, or plants get yellow because they don't have enough water. Still they are able to keep green plants due to the ability to store more water. This is garden, but this applies to any plants, and they were the first to discover that by adding water to the little pond they had, and they always had problems with leakage from there. What happened? The soil increased coagulation, so they stopped the process of losing a lot of water. This is not related to that. So what are the agriculture applications? We did the trial in farm in, I think it was in Slovakia, where they put the device on the control lane, and it was mushroom production. Sorry. So they increased the production with less water, and they didn't have to use any chemicals. That was the first wave of harvest, and second wave, you can see that it was much more. So this is the results where they compare increase of mushroom was by 4% at least. This is the study we've done with University in Graz, the Institute for Plant Physiology. And the two test groups were absolutely treated in the same way. The only difference was in the water they had been watered with during the stage of germinating, transplanting, and further growing. And during the process of soaking, it could be observed that the test groups felt faster, and also the sprouts were growing faster. The fresh weight of sprouts had always been higher concerning the plants which had been watered by structured water, and the fresh weight of roots was higher comparing to plants which had been watered with normal water. Other studies we did was spinach, radish, and lettuce, again in Austria. Study was run at the University of Natural Resources and Applied Life Science in Vienna. So what they observed was that spinach plants treated with structured water reached higher dry weight. Color intensity was brighter without any chemicals used during the production. And the spinach leaves has also been darker green. It's related to the capacity to produce more chlorophyll, which I mentioned before, next to irrigation systems. The values of the stress factor as a measurement for the biological quality of the products concerning spinach and lettuce are lower than those concerning plants treated with tap water. And this is the form that I mentioned before, eustoma farming, where you can observe exactly, this is on the first picture, and you can see the device which is streaming the correct frequency to the water pipe. And this is the eustoma flowers which grew 1 month later. So currently they are even able to produce more months a year the flowers, even though the prices of energy in Europe are growing extremely high. Still they need less energy to run the farm. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an insightful session. And you have explained very well about the water and space solutions to increase crop nutrition and efficiency of vertical and organic farming. Like you have shown us that how you are treating the water for getting more organic produce. So this is highly commendable. So when we have a few questions, so if you permit me, can I ask the questions?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Ma'am, how green tech and Aquacil is working at ground level with farmers of UAE?
We work with private farmers, but as well we work with Ministry of Climate Change on building regulations and protocols for farmers to grow sustainably. As well, UAE is committed to reduce plastics. So we find partners to transfer know-how, for example, and produce packaging locally. Now we are in conversation with Abu Dhabi Environmental Agency on providing the project for farmers in Alain area where the scarcity of water is a problem. So daily they have to close dozens of farms at least. due to lack of or very high salinity of underground waters.
Ma'am, how the farmers of UAE are adapting all these things like the treatment of water? This is being done by the with collaboration of the government, or your organization is doing it on your own, or like with some NGOs, like how you are doing it?
We do it on multiple levels. So some farmers or big vertical farms, they approach us to implement technology. Government has its own programs for farmers where they support them financially. There are agriculture organizations which support local farmers in implementing innovative technologies. So we are open to work with anyone from private sector, government sector, as well NGOs. We try to work with United Nations as well on several projects. For example, with Ghana River, this is project which is a venture between Ghana government and World Bank.
Yeah, ma'am, the services which we are providing the farmers are especially for the farmers who are doing the urban farming or hydroponics, or also for the traditional farming also.
You know, the technology is suitable for farmer who has simple production up to the most sophisticated farms. So we work with farmers who has old type of farming, who has greenhouses, who have plants, animals, and any kind of farming. We are there.
Ma'am, one last question. Like you are providing the services to the farmer, like you're treating the water and other things. So you are providing some kind of certificates also to them, like their produce is certified by your organization or not?
We
Like there
provide
is a
our
certification.
We provide our
Yeah,
own
yeah, ma'am.
certificates, so then the farmers, they label the plants that they grew in a sustainable way, which increase the market value and as well exportation. But they are not formal certification like organic or others. We are working on that. We are interested to run institute and certify such plants.
After the certification, the farmers are getting a higher price for their produce.
Yes, they are getting a higher price, and as well it facilitates selling abroad because many countries, or for example, European Union put a ban on non-organic food, and packaging is very important now. All these factors are are a benefit for farmer in selling locally, but as well in export. So as I mentioned, there is the marketing value, there is the increased quality of crops, and as well savings, because farmers don't have to treat neither plants nor animals with chemicals. So they save money on all these fertilizers and products which cost a lot of money.
Yeah, ma'am, one another question which I have from the participant side, like how the structure of water is being determined?
How, what, sorry?
How the structure of water is being determined by your organization?
I don't think I understood this question well.
Like you have told about the structure of water,
Yes.
so how the structure is being determined, like how you are doing this thing?
As I showed, we have this wireless water technology which gives 40,000 frequencies to water every single second. So it improves the water in water network, or it improves water in the pond, or even if you keep the bucket of water over the device, the water will be structured. That's why I said we work with simple farmers up to the sophisticated systems, and the device can be it's fully mobile, so you can take it from one location to the other, and it's lifetime solution, so you don't have to exchange it, replace it, redesign the farm, rebuild the farm. It lasts forever unless someone breaks it. That's why we are a kind of threat for the lobbies, because just the chlorine is a $9 billion business. And if we restore the structure of water, we don't need any more fertilizers and chemicals, or we can absolutely minimize the usage of it as well, accordingly to the local legislation.
Yeah, ma'am. So, ma'am, you have also talked about the RO water. So, what is the value of RO water? This is a question from a participant. That what is the value of the RO water?
The water is basically a very costly system. So we noticed with big farmers producing mushroom and other things, and as well with simple RO which people have at home, that we can prolong the life of membrane, which usually are exchanged every 3 months, up to 1 year or 2 years, or even 3 years. Because due to high quality of water, we don't have sediments, so we don't have to exchange this membrane, so we cut costs as well. We don't have to use chemicals to treat the water, so we can cut all this consumption, and as well this end waste product now is being used to extract the minerals. This is the new trend in RO, but the problem is that it's very toxic. So if we use in the salination system the structured water, will not only increase the efficiency of plant up to 55%, but as well this waste won't be toxic, so, and it will crystallize more, so it will be easier to extract back minerals out of it.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. We are done with the question, and thank you for such a valuable information and taking time out of your busy schedule. So we are so grateful to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now for the next session, I would like to hand over this virtual podium to Dr. Preeti.
Thank you, Himani ma'am. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Very good evening, everyone. On the behalf of Sher-e Kashmir University of Agriculture, Sciences and Technology, Team Just Agriculture and Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society, Punjab, I Preeti cordially welcome you all to the successful 5th day of Agriculture 4.0, the future of farming technology and agripreneurship development, which is a 15-day international online training cum workshop program. I wholeheartedly welcome all of you. So without wasting much of your time, I would like to bring your attention to the next session and warmly welcome our chief guest of the session, Dr. Suhas P. Vani, who is a gold medalist internationally recognized by Government of India, China and Vietnam for his outstanding achievements in scaling up benefits for the farmers. Sir has served as former Research Program Director in Asia and Director IDC at International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics. Patancheru, India, visiting professor at the University of Alberta, Edmonton, Canada. Sustainable Agriculture Advisory Board member of Unilever, jury for JSW Times of India, Earth Care Awards and Times of India PRF. Social Impact Incubator Program till 2021. He serves as advisor to JSW Foundation Mumbai, SM Sehgal Foundation India, and the Advisory Board of Poverty Learning Institution PLI Hyderabad. Sir is currently serving as a board member of Heirloom Company since 2021 and as a consultant in Asian Development ADB Manila, Food and Agriculture Organization Bangkok, and International Fund for Agriculture Development Rome. His scaling up science-based interventions benefited millions of farmers in Asia and Africa through sustainable agriculture, through efficient water management for improving rural livelihoods. Scaling up projects in the state of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand. More than 10 million farmers have been benefited from using improved SWN and crop management practices, building soil health, and increasing carbon sequestration. Improved management options benefited more than 4.75 million farmers in Karnataka alone. Karnataka alone, economically with US $453 million through Bhuchetna program of Government of Karnataka in 7 years. On average, farmers' income increased by 35% during each season. He has spearheaded a number of strategic papers for the Prime Minister's office covering varying areas from integrated water management through Pradhan Mantri Sinchai Yojana, soil health mapping, pulses self-sufficiency, direct benefit transfer, weather-based crop insurance, and digital agriculture. He crafted the pilot program for doubling farmers' income in selected districts of Vidarbha in Maharashtra and the Bundelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh, based on the recommendations from the National Workshop on Doubling Farmers' Income held at Vivekananda International Foundation, New Delhi. Sir has more than 700 plus publications, which include 437 research articles, 19 books, 150 book chapters, conference papers, technical report, posters, and many more. Sir, you have a remarkable personality as clearly visible from your infinite achievements. We are very grateful to have you here, sir. So I would like to request sir to join the podium now and address us with his inspiring talk. Welcome, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Preeti.
Thank you, sir.
I would share my screen
Sure, sir.
so that we can go with the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I will be talking, considering the thing that we are talking with the entrepreneurship development, and the topic which I have selected for today's deliberation is the digital agriculture is a must for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And that's what basically I am going to talk about it. And as already indicated in the introduction, my specialization is in the soil science and particularly in scaling up the benefits for millions of farmers across the Asia and also Africa. So the outline what I am proposing is basically we will address why we need the digital agriculture for Atmanirbhar Bharat, what are the government policies which are supporting, and what sort of work we need to look into digital agriculture, like data architecture, data collection, data analytics and decision support system, data visualization, digital information system for doubling the farmers' income. So if we look at why agriculture is important for Atmanirbhar Bharat, you must be aware that India has transformed from ship to mouth in 1960s to surplus overflowing godowns of cereals, particularly rice and wheat, by 2016 onwards, basically. Still, we are net importers of oilseeds and pulses. We have stopped from last 2 years to the last 3 years now. And we need to understand that Indian economy is largely an agrarian economy, as 65% of the total population is rural. And although the contribution of the agriculture to the GDP of nation is varying between 16 to 20%, there the large urban-rural divide is seen, which is so prominent that rural income per capita per year is rupees around 41,000, which is less than half of the urban counterpart of 98,000 rupees per annum. And the market outlook for all the goods and for the country markets depends on the performance of agriculture, because 65% of our population is in rural areas, and mainly the performance of monsoon rains, as we have large rain-fed agriculture in the country. India has the largest arable land, supporting 58% of the population as the primary source of livelihood. And we need to be aware that we have varying climate or agroeco zones across the country, so that we have the arid zone as well as the temperate agricultural zone, and up to Himalayas, we go into the glaciers and so on and so forth. Considering the predominance of agriculture, rural areas in driving the Indian economy, rural transformation is must to make the Bharat Atmanirbhar or self-sufficient. Why do we need digital agriculture for scaling up and increasing value chains? Because, as you know, there are 29 states and 9 union territories in the country, and agriculture is the state subject. Central government can do the policies, can do the support to the state government, but it is wholly depends on the state governments how they should manage their agriculture as such. We have about 687 districts, and as you know that we have large number of villages, more than 6 lakhs villages, and of course languages, you are well known that every 10 kilometers a dialect changes, and every state has a different language with a written, spoken, and as such. We have 20 agroclimatic zones as per the current demarcation, and of course we are able to grow 4 crops for in the year during the 4 seasons. We have rain-fed and irrigated agriculture. More than 100 crops are grown in the country. There are a number of research organizations like ICAR, state agricultural universities, agricultural research centers, and agri-science centers as such. However, there is a large yield gap between what farmers harvest and what is the potential, and this yield gap varies anywhere from 2 to 5 folds. That means almost half to 20% only. Farmers are able to achieve the on their farms. Farmers have no access through extension agencies. As a result, farmers follow traditional practices. For example, the National Sample Survey shows that 59% of the farmers in the country do not get any extension support. And the current government system is able to support only 11% of the farmers, and rest of the farmers are made 30% of the farmers are made through the private companies, media, and other farmers as such. Another thing, farmers receive only 30 to 35% of market price paid by the customers due to poor market access to the farmers, as well as insufficient post-harvest mechanisms to reduce the losses, as our post-harvest losses are high due to poor infrastructure like cold storage, cold chains, etc. And almost it is said that 25% of the produce is wasted or lost during the post-harvest process. And our farmers are small. We have almost 145 million farm holders. So our challenges are complex, and we need to understand that what works in the West will not work in country like India or any other country in the Asian region or as well as in Africa. As the current things you know, who do farmers turn for the technical advice? Input dealers, progressive farmers are popular sources of agri advice, and government agencies are largely ignored. This is just 2 days back, it appeared in the business magazine of the agriculture as such. So we need to be realistic on our challenges, and basically we need to focus our attention that how we can overcome the challenges what we have been facing around. PM has said that doubling the farmers' income is the motto of the government. And then in such a case, the challenges are there, as we know that there is a large difference between the farmers' income in the rural areas and the city folks' income. So remote sensing based crop and soil information on temporal and spatial basis has been recommended by the Doubling the Farmers Income Committee, which was chaired by Dr. Ashok Dalwai, who is the CEO of the National Rainfed Area Authority. And they have looked at remote sensing, ICT-based support for the farmers, digital agriculture related to Digital India, and upcoming technologies like big data analytics, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, KVKs and Atma for knowledge diffusion, blockchain, robots, and sensors. So considering all these, there is urgent need to transform agriculture using big data analytics from subsistence agriculture to a business proposition. As you know that 65 to 70% of the income from agriculture is grabbed by the intermediaries by the time it reaches to the consumer. And we need to ensure that more farmers get the benefit of the price what consumers are paying as such. Government policies, if we look what we are finding that in addition to the doubling farmers' income, the government has launched the Soil Health Card Mission under the Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare. Science-based agriculture using agroecoregion and market-based crop diversification is supported by the government. Use of satellite data for crop area and yield estimation for rice and wheat. And through convergence, a new Jal Shakti ministry has been created to enhance water use efficiency and rainwater management, as well as the potable water and basically the wastewater as such to address water scarcity. It is promoting biofortified cultivars of different crops to address the issue of malnutrition, and pulses mission implemented to make India self-sufficient in pulses requirement. So government policies are encouraging and supportive of the digital agriculture. Government of India has already released the paper that is IDEA, which is Indian Digital Agro Ecosystem for Agriculture, and that clearly lists what are the government expecting from the digital agriculture and what sort of platform is required. Currently, agriculture is managed in compartments. We are adopting the piecemeal approach basically, and that's what basically we need to overcome. There are cultural aspects, behavioral patterns are not included, and sustainable agriculture is made a futile exercise. So there is a need for the cultural change. Farmers have to believe in the information, and the people who provide the information, they have to take the responsibility that they are providing the right information to the farmers at the right time, at the right price. Water, agriculture, energy, and climate change are all related aspects, and without harmonizing them, we will not be able to optimize the rural development as such. So I don't know why it is not moving. I got stuck with this one. Is someone working from that end?
No, sir, actually nobody is working from our side. But sir, please escape it and do the presentation mode once again. I think it will be fine.
Okay. Okay. So business as usual model won't work. What basically we need is the holistic approach to benefit small farm holders, because a farmer who has 2 or 3 acres of land grows number of crops, and only he receives or she receives 30 to 35% of income, family income from the agriculture, and rest comes from the allied sectors. And that's where basically we need the holistic approach. It has to be science-led development with modern technologies to transform the agriculture basically into subsistence agriculture into a business model, and international standards, modeling, big data, remote sensing, monitoring, evaluation and learning, water budgeting, use of drones, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, etc. must be adopted. Scaling up is must, because this is a big challenge. Most of us, we know what to do, but we don't know how to do it. And that's where farmers do not get the technology which are most recently evaluated and tested by the researchers or developed by the researchers. And that's where basically we need to ensure that whatever we work, it is the responsibility of the researchers and the extension workers to see that the knowledge is updated and provided to the farmer. There is a recent paper. It is not the problem only in India, it is the problem across the world. In 2020-21 Nature, there is a full volume of why poverty is not reduced in the world. And the main reason they have listed is that scientists do not work with the small farm holders. They work on the research stations only, and they think someone else will do that. And that's where we need to have a new proposition, building ownership along the value chain as such. So government policy and overview, as we have said, government of India, that is the Prime Minister, has already declared doubling the farmers' income. Digital Agriculture Division has been created under the Agriculture Ministry. Aadhaar-based direct benefit transfer and opening the Jan Dhan accounts for the large number of farmers has been achieved. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana ensuring 55 million farmers out of 145 million has been achieved, with 90,000 crores since January 2016 have been paid to the farmers. E-NAM has enabled the farmers to sell their products online at the national level. Kisan credit cards are there. Technology for farmers' welfare and mechanization through promotion of machine hiring centers is promoted. Increasing minimum support prices, enhancing 50 to 100% return over the cost of production has been adopted. Kisan Rail and Kisan Udan to facilitate the transport of perishable agricultural goods in a timely manner has been started. Promotion of farmer producers organizations for accessing quality inputs and markets have been promoted. Launching one district, one product initiative, bypassing intermediaries has been put in place, and UP is the best example at the moment. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana is there. PM Kisan Man Dhan Yojana is there. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is there. Reforming and increasing labor wages, modifying the essential commodities, and other things are in place basically. So basically what we need is a better, faster and cheaper delivery through digital agriculture. And for that, better, faster and cheaper product services will increase smallholder farmers' productivity as well as profitability, and providing gains which will be helping us to reduce the poverty, improve the nutrition, education and savings for the farmers. So we need a mission India to transform agriculture, that is Mitra, which should be subsistence agriculture to a business model. It should be science-led, knowledge-intensive. It should be mechanization-based, efficient use of resources, climate-smart, market-led diversification, because this is the biggest problem. We have overproduced wheat and rice because of the minimum support price. Government is trying hard to bring the agroecoregion based farming, but there is lot of resistance from the activists as well as from some of the states, because they know that through working as intermediary for the MSP, they make a lot of profit into this case. Value chain approach has to be adopted so that farmers, producers, organizations can play important role in processing as well as storage and provide to the direct customers, so that the intermediaries can be cut down, and need to support farmers through digital agriculture. We need to look at co-creation of solutions. Basically, we need the researchers, farmers, women groups, corporates, youths all together, so that we can have the collective solution for the farmers as such. So we need to have a following framework for agroecoregion based climate resilient market oriented agriculture for doubling the farmers' income. There are things which basically we need to look at the market for increasing the profitability through reducing cost of cultivation, value addition through value chain approach, market linkages, market-led diversification or production, reducing post-harvest losses, and minimizing the risks. At the same time, for increasing the productivity, we need to bridge the yield gaps, crop intensification. Example, rice fallows, rainy season fallows need to be cultivated. Crop diversification with high value crops need to be brought it in, and enabling policies and credit need to be pursued with the government. The best example I can tell you that 4 years back, when the pigeon pea prices, pigeon pea dal, that is arahar, went up to the sky limits, then farmers decided to shift to the pigeon pea. And by the time pigeon pea was sown, we knew that how much area has been sown, and we got connected with the government and told them that if government does not support the minimum support price for pigeon pea and ensure the farmers that they will buy all the products, the next 3 to 4 years, farmers will not touch the pigeon pea crop as such. And surprisingly, with the government reaction, very quickly they adopted our advice and brought the policy change and procured almost 100 million tons of pigeon pea from the farmers at the minimum support price, and that's how pigeon pea was saved for the farmers as such. So we need to be really proactive to harness the policies of the government. And as I was indicating earlier, Government of India has already looked at digital agriculture, and they have put together the digital India digital ecosystems of agriculture idea. A paper has been prepared by the Ministry of Information and Technologies as well as the agriculture together. And digital ecosystem is distributed, adaptive, and open social technical system. So there have to be open system for the people to play with that. Agriculture value chain extends from crop varietal selection to the crop management to the market. That means value chain approach has to be adopted. Digital ecosystem of agriculture needs to take a long-term view of aspects like interoperability, data governance, data quality, data standards, security, and privacy, besides promoting open innovation. Need decentralized federated architecture that assures autonomy to the service providers and all other actors and ensure interoperability at the same time. It needs basically a national digital agricultural ecosystem which is plug in and plug out, because the states which want to plug in, they can plug in for the particular thing. Those who want to plug out, they can plug out of that, and that platform has to have these sort of things. The principles have to be ecosystem like thinking, building block approaches, open API based, open normal national portability, participatory design, and promote innovation. Is proposed to be implemented on a mission mode by establishing a national mission on digital agriculture with dedicated team of experts, and adoption of a holistic ecosystem approach is promoted by the Government of India. As we know, the public policies, digital infrastructure in rural and remote areas is there. Almost every remote area or the rural person has a rural families have a mobile phone with them at the moment. Rural roads, electricity and logistics to power digital devices and connect digital markets. Most of the gram panchayats are connected with internet now. Digitization of public agricultural bodies and skilled public sector workers is already taking place. The best example is government of Uttar Pradesh during the COVID lockdown. The workers who returned to the UP back, they were all digitized. Their expertise was put on the public domain and then contacted the particular companies to hire them within UP itself. And that's where basically the benefit comes of digitization. Digital payment system is there in the country, which is the largest in the world, and promoting the digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, reducing the access barriers by marginalized groups like cost, language, digital devices, distribution of benefits to the people. Smart villages are being put together by the government of India, digitally connected, skilled laborers to demonstrate up-to-date practices, digitization of public agricultural bodies and skilled public sector workers. Most of the soils data has been on the public domain. The prices are in the public domain. The land records are done. The bank accounts are directly there where the DBT is working well. And that's how basically the corruption has been reduced quite a lot, and promoting digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, reducing the access barriers as we have already discussed. So the approach what we need is basically community driven. It should be inclusive so the small and marginal farmers get the benefit. It should be public-private partnerships, consortium approach, not that everything I will do, but it should be with the partners, and convergence with existing programs and participatory selection of interventions is very much needed. So approach has to be holistic, market-driven, science-based, valued, not free, sustainable, inclusive, and it should be participatory as such. So what data collection? Basically mobile-based data collection, flexible data collection tools, preparation of forms, deployment of forms, aggregation of data from data collector to centralized server, information tagged with location and farmers. And that's where basically the mobile data collection comes in. That we have the GPS devices, no paper forms. We basically integrate the GPS, integrate the camera, data can be sent to server end program to automate data analysis and presentation as such. We need to have the open data kit, build XLS or XML, open data kit, collect the data, aggregate it, and then put it on the server. We also need to have monitoring, evaluation, and learning framework at the individual farmer level, because as we all know, what gets measured get delivered. And that's where we need to have the farmers' details, farmers' account information, knowledge sharing in terms of crop sowing, soil test-based fertilizer recommendations, schemes and programs of the government, availability of inputs, water schedules, weather information, market information, so that we can get the outcome of avoiding the risk for the farmers for crop failures, as well as reduce the cost of cultivation, greater outreach, and land resource inventory has been tried in the Karnataka, and digitization of cadastral maps is done, mapping farmers to cadastral maps, digital mapping of biophysical parameters will be the best data for delivering decision support system. We have tried Krishi Gyan Sagar, where package of practices, plant protection measures, fertilizer recommendations, water management has been put on, as well as the trend analysis, geospatial analysis, and this benefit the farmer through the advisories on the mobile phones or on the webs and through the WhatsApp groups as such. So this sort of data analytics and decision support system need to be developed for the farmers so that they can identify their location, they can say which district, which village, which crop, what is the farmer, and then what is the rainfall, what are the demand in the water for that particular crop, and basically that's where basically we need to put the fertilizer recommendation as well as irrigation schedule as such to the farmers as such. We have developed also groundnut crop advisory, because 50% of the cost of cultivation of groundnut is in the seeds, and if the crop fails and resowing has to be done, then the cost of cultivation goes up. And as you know, with the climate change, the rainfall patterns have changed, shifted. Earlier, we used to get assured rains in the June second week. Now we do get early rains in the May. Farmers think the season has started, they go ahead with the crops, and then the crop faces the drought for next 3 to 4 weeks, and that's where the failures comes in. So we have done this in Kurnool with the government of Andhra Pradesh, and sowing at the right time is critical, and by that way the farmers' productivity was increased by 25 to 30%. And one thing was very important, that farmers were only sent the message when some action has to be taken. It should not become like WhatsApp, that you get the message, you never open many times in the day, because you have so much of knowledge flowing through that you feel that you are suffocating with that. And that's what basically we need to bring in the private partnership. This work was done with Microsoft, Aware, and of course the NGO, and that's how we could build the partnerships. And then these are the components of the sowing app, that is soil water balance. So you need the soil information, you need the rainfall information, you need to understand when the sowing should be taken, and we need the prediction for next 2 to 3 weeks, so that we are sure that the crop which is sown will survive as such. Also, water impact calculator has been developed, simple Excel sheet base, where the soil water is taken into account, the transpiration, evapotranspiration is taken into account, and farmers are advised in a simple language by looking at their pumping size of the motor and the pipe, how many hours the farmer need to run the motor for irrigating 1 acre of his crop. And by that way, farmers could save 25 to 30% of water, as well as the yield also is increased. This is about the soil test-based nutrient management. As we told that we were the pioneer in preparing the soil atlas for the whole state of Karnataka in 2009. Finally, working with the government of India, 2015, soil health card mission was launched, and now every farmer's field gets sampled. Of course, quality is an issue, because many times the GPS points which are there on the website, you find them that they are landing into the ocean. That means still the quality is not there, but we are very sure that quality will come soon. As the number are achieved, the quality also will be coming soon, and farmers will get large benefit, because over the hundreds of years, farmers have never applied, particularly in rain-fed agriculture, the micro and secondary nutrients. They were only knowing NPK, and because of the government policy on N subsidy earlier, farmers were adding only the N fertilizer, and NPK ratio instead of 4:2:1 has been skewed very dramatically, and in some cases it has gone almost into 8:2:1 as such. So we need to have the balanced fertilization as such. FYM need to be brought it in, and that's where basically you can see the example about on the screenshot of the web, where the farmers know exactly what is the carbon boron content, where are the with different colors we show them where are the deficiencies. With red color, green is sufficient, and that's basically in between brown color shows that they are in the medium range. Data visualization is important, and that definitely help us. Basically, in the daily activity report from the ground staff, we also get the historical observed crop yield data. As you see, all the things can be on the laptop or the mobile phone. People can look at soil fertility data, look at rain harvesting structures, where are they? And as you know that now with the new government policy of IWMP, that is Integrated Watershed Development Program, unless there are detailed GIS maps for the whole planning, the budget for the second year is not released, and that's where basically everything gets recorded. People can see where are the structures, which type of structures, how much water is stored, and how much groundwater level is there, and how much recharge is there as such, using this sort of data available, as well as the groundwater quality. So basically what we need is all the things like weather, soil health, water, weather, modeling, best practices, programs, schemes, government policies, and communication has to be there. Land resources inventory, we have already talked. Digital information system, this is what basically we need to bring in all the things together, like weather-based advisory, market opportunities, customized reports, best practices, feedback from the farmers, diagnostic tools, water manager, soil health manager. So all have to be on plug in and plug out things so that people can use the particular solutions through plug in, plug out APIs. And that's how basically we need to bring in the cloud computing and AI, becoming a central nodal organization, link the stakeholders, create a new ecosystem, build partnerships through consortium formation. No need to do what someone else has again done. We need to just capitalize on their strengths, be a facilitator and provide the framework. As we say in consortium, you have to harness the strengths and overlook the weaknesses. Access and influence without ownership are important. We need to ensure that impact at the bottom of the pyramid, where the large, small number of farmers are there. We need to have unwavering faith that you can and will succeed in the end. Culture of discipline is must, where disciplined people don't need any hierarchy. Disciplined thought, no need to have bureaucracy. Disciplined action, no need to have excessive controls. Combined culture of discipline with an ethic of entrepreneurship, great performance, and tipping point and continued push, but not a planned distracting technologies or a killer innovation. We need to look at it. Our core values must be farmers should be first at the central point, build on the partnerships. We must ensure timely delivery, quality inputs, and impact. If we do that, then this is what basically will happen. All these wheels will run into synchrony, and that's where basically the farmers gets the benefit. And you can see that it is basically starting from productivity enhancement, livestock, goatry, reducing the post-harvest losses, wasteland development, cultivation, offline, enabling policies, and marketing, as well as online as such. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll be glad to answer if there are any queries as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and insightful session. In this digital world, yes, our farmers should also become digital and should use this technology. There are many schemes, recommendations, and technologies by our government for the farmers, which we are unaware. So thank you for elaborating all these along with their pros and cons, sir. Without any doubt, our participant must have enjoyed and learned from this session, sir. With your permission now, I would like to ask a few questions that our participants have asked, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Sir, first question that one of our participants has asked is like, our farmers are not always literate enough to understand this artificial intelligence, sir. Of course, government is trying to make them aware, but what do you think about like where we need to start to make them aware about everything, sir? Which is the lowest level where we need to start, sir?
See, basically, farmers are interested to know the final answer. They don't know how basically the answer has been arrived at. For example, when we tried with the sowing app for the farmers using the artificial intelligence or soil health information, we didn't tell the farmer that we are doing this, we are doing that. Basically, we told them that you have to sow the crop now, you have to prepare the land now, and once you sow the crop, this is the thing growing. So once the financial economic benefits come to the farmer, it is basically a faith-building measure which we need to adopt. Basically, what has happened that the people give the advice which is convenient to them, because as the Nature paper also has said that it is more of a supply-driven rather than the demand-driven knowledge we give to the farmers, and that's why farmers do not adopt it. So what I think that farmers don't need to understand artificial intelligence or blockchain approach or cloud computing. What they are interested in getting the right advice at the right time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So the next question is coming, sir, in North India, farmers are not following the recommendations and POPs and do not go to the scientists actually. They directly go to the retailers and apply anything recommended by them. So how we can change the scenario and aware the farmers about this?
See, basically, that's where we would like to work together with the private companies like the fertilizer producers and so. And we have done it successfully in Karnataka with 5 million farmers. Basically, we provided the advice to the farmers that what they need to apply, ensured with the government support that those required inputs are available nearby to the farmers, that is at the group of village level, because they cannot go to district place to buy the particular thing. Say, for example, if you recommend boron application, farmer cannot go to a district place when it rains and take the boron, and then so he or she decides, I will do whatever is available with me at the moment. And the private dealers will always tell what is good for them. So if we ensure that their profits are ensured through the supply of right inputs to the farmers, I don't think they will tell wrongly. And the farmers, as well as the government department and the NGOs, have to work together with the private companies to ensure that they get what is required. And that's where the role of farmer producer companies come in now. There are a number of states where the farmer producer companies are selling the product of fertilizers, seeds, directly purchasing from the manufacturers, so that cutting down the price and providing the quality input to the farmers as such. So I don't think that our machinery to reach the farmers is not sufficient. And that's where digital agriculture has to come in to play the important role.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. In the same very context, sir, another question is like digital agriculture is very costly for small landholders. So, sir, how we can motivate small and marginal farmers to use these tools and technology?
I don't think it is so costly, because if you give it to the farmer producer organizations, they will do the subsequent dissemination of their technologies or the information to the farmers, and sending through the SMS is not a big deal. And government of India is promoting quite a lot of these things. There are a number of schemes for that to harness. And that's where I was saying that it has to be a public-private partnership. If some digital company goes to the government of India and says that we have this platform as per your recommendation, and this is where basically we would like to work, government, central government, as well as state governments will be quite happy to provide the necessary support. We have worked with government of Karnataka, we have worked with government of Andhra Pradesh, with Uttar Pradesh, and the information has been provided through the FPOs as well as through the SMS and other things where the costs were borne by the government.
Yes, sir. Sir, one last question I would like to ask is there any minimum land that has been declared by government that to be digital agriculture, that to be digital agri?
No, nothing of that sort. Basically, it is as you know that agriculture is a state subject, and every state decides what they would like to have. But if it is a farmer driven, like for example, during the COVID, many states agreed for direct sale to the farmers they produce. The government departments promoted the sale of vegetables, fruits to the societies and other things, and that's where farmer got the benefit. So same way, e-NAM is there where the farmers can tap the information and sell it to the anywhere. Government has started the Kisan Udan, Kisan Rail, which are basically air-conditioned railways as well as air-conditioned flights, even to export the vegetables and fruits. And that's where basically one needs to be aware what are the schemes which we need to harness to the benefit of the farmers. And generally, most of the companies don't do this because they want to sell their product and wash their hands after 3 years of the project, make the money and move away. That approach should not be there. As I said, farmers have to be our central focal point, and we need to look at the country's development as such, not the individual company's development per se.
Very well said, sir. I hope, sir, our participants are satisfied with your answers. So, sir, there are no more questions in the chat box. So, sir, thank you once again for your valuable time with us. On the behalf of Team Just Agriculture and our participants, I thank you. I personally would also like to say thanks to you, sir. Actually, it was worth listening to you. With this, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Preeti. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to end the session. We shall meet again tomorrow with new topics. Till then, I would like to say good night to all of you. Good night. Take care.